So the Club World Cup is going to start today in a little bit, right? Where I am is June 14th, and it's about to be 3 p.m. And Inter Miami is going to play in a little bit. And I was debating what to talk about for my second video, right? And something that I really wanted to talk about, that I wanted to talk about for a really long time, like when I was deciding when to come back, was when the Ballon d'Or conversation started, right? And towards where it started to shift. As we know, in the beginning of the season, there was a clear winner so far, right? But things change as the season goes. But there was a clear winner. We all know this. There was a clear winner. There was one man standing there, and it was Raphinha from Barcelona, right? He was kind of alone up there with Mo Salah, and that was before the UCL. That was before both of them playing for the domestic cups in their own league. And kind of towards the middle of the season, right, where I would say like maybe January, maybe December, I think that it was still between those two, right? Because I believe at that point they were still in the UCL, and maybe Raphinha would still be above Mo Salah just because, Liverpool didn't really win anything as of yet, right? Meanwhile, Barcelona, they were kind of dominating in La Liga, right? Not only were they winning, but the goal difference was insane, right? Despite their little slack towards, November, December, January, and was kind of up there, all alone, standing up there, and he was racking up those goals and those assists. He was just racking them up, right? And it was not like they were normal, right? Just to remind you guys, I am a Real Madrid fan and I love Real Madrid, but I don't hate Barcelona. Just because I like Real Madrid, I don't hate Barcelona. But obviously, there's a little bias where you do want your rival to lose, and you don't want you don't want to see them achieve things, especially since they play in the same league. That was how I feel, right? But when it's time to be honest, you just have to be honest. You can't like kind of go left or go right. So yeah, middle of the season, I'd say Raphinha was still kind of favorite. And then there was like a sudden shift out of nowhere, right? So he's been the favorite. And then a sudden shift started where Liverpool got eliminated from the UCL, but Barcelona was still in there. Real Madrid were still in there. And PSG were still in there. And if you guys don't know, the conversation for the Ballon d'Or was either Raphinha or Mo Salah. And out of nowhere, remember, not from the beginning of the season, but towards the middle, there was another candidate, and that's Dembele from PSG, right? Ever since the middle of the season till now, something happened, and he started kind of racking up those goals and those assists. Obviously, PSG winning their domestic cups. And so everybody started putting in Dembele in there. And I said, hey, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense of what he's achieved, right? But that's in the French league. And people know that in the French league, it's kind of mainly PSG, right? So they were kind of giving it doubts. PSG is the one who kind of been winning the league title in recent years. So nobody really kind of, I guess, were rooting for Dembele to win it, but they just kind of put him up there, right? So yeah, comes the Champions League, and then as rounds and as legs go by, Real Madrid get eliminated by Arsenal, which if you're a Real Madrid fan and you're like not biased, you just have to be honest, right? Everybody kind of knew Real Madrid's season was just horrible, so that's for another video. But yeah, so they got eliminated. Barcelona goes through, and then Barcelona's against Inter and Arsenal's against PSG, right? For Arsenal and PSG, I was confident that it was going to be PSG that goes through. I don't know why. I felt like any team that goes up against Real Madrid, they are going to seem like a world-class team. And that's just the truth. This season, any team that goes against Real Madrid just seemed better just because Real Madrid was struggling, right? So I just knew Arsenal wasn't that top force. Even though they were second in the league, I just don't think that they were that strong team to beat PSG, right? Because if you guys watched how PSG played the entire season, even before Dembele started performing, they were amazing, right? And I still don't know how to say his name, but especially since Kvaratskhelia that guy from Georgia joined, they've been phenomenal, right? So I just knew that Arsenal wasn't going to win. So yeah, PSG obviously won it. And they go through to the final. And it was at Inter and Barcelona where I was saying it could go either way, right? Because if you guys don't know, before Inter lost the league, they were number one in the league and they were going insane. They were going crazy, right? Before they even lost to AC Milan, right? That kind of happened towards I believe, the second, going up to the second leg against Barcelona where they lost against AC Milan for that cup. But yeah, I thought it could go either way. I watched the game for the second leg as well. And, everybody kind of thought Barcelona went through before the tying goal. And then, yeah, they drew it. And then, they scored the winner. And then, yeah, Barcelona got eliminated, right? And that's kind of where I felt like people started taking a turn. People started, I guess, looking at the bad, right? So when Barcelona got eliminated in the UCL, out of nowhere, as a week, I guess, went by, kind of I don't know how to say it. They just kind of threw not Dembele. They threw Raphinha out of there. That conversation for the Ballon d'Or, they kind of just threw him out of there. It is like he was the reason for their loss. If not, he is the reason Barcelona lost because he underperformed, right? And that is not the case. We all know this. That is not the case. And we've seen it, right? Raphinha, in my opinion, right, besides Pedri, I believe that he played a very important role for Barcelona's success this season. This season alone, Raphinha was more important, in my opinion, than even Lamine Yamal, right? There was some games where if Lamine Yamal didn't start, Barcelona kind of drew or lost. That was towards the middle of the season, right? But despite that, even when Lamine Yamal was playing, right, who was still scoring the goals and providing the assists, and who was the one hustling for the ball 24/7 in that field during those 90 minutes, it was Raphinha, right? I'm sure if you guys watched the Barcelona games, you guys would see that man nonstop running. His stamina is still maxed out, right? It's insane. This guy, Raphinha, had an incredible season, and then people just wanted to push him away from that conversation just because Barcelona got eliminated from the UCL. And instead of talking about the Club World Cup, I just wanted to make a case for Raphinha winning the Ballon d'Or, even though I am a Real Madrid fan, right? Kylian Mbappe, top goal scorer in Europe, and he won the Golden Boot and the Pichichi Award. So, yeah, I could have dragged out his case to win the Ballon d'Or. But no, I just can't do that. You cannot do that. After seeing Raphinha's season, right, we all know who the Ballon d'Or should go to if it is a Barca player. If it's a Barca player who is going to win a Ballon d'Or, it should be none other than Raphinha. I don't know where Lamine Yamal came from. He had an incredible season as well. I just don't know why he is even more favorited than Pedri. I don't know. I really do not know. I get that he had a crazy season and he's been a key player for Barcelona, but Pedri, I believe, played a more important role than Lamine Yamal. And without Raphinha there attacking, I felt like those goals, those assists, weren't going to be as much, right? Because if you guys look at Barcelona's goal difference, right, I don't even know the stats off the top of my head, but I know that it's a lot. It's a lot. They scored a lot against teams. They weren't just looking for wins, they were looking for domination, right? They beat Real Madrid in 2 finals, right? Despite those regular league games, they destroyed them in 2 finals. Not destroyed. In 1 final, yes, they destroyed them. But they still beat them 4 games, right? And who was consistently there in those games? It was Raphinha. Raphinha was consistently there. All right. He scored and assists. And if he's not doing none of that, he is there defending. We see how far he drops back and we see how much he's running. And he played a lot of games. He did. He played a lot of games. So, yeah, I'm going to repeat it again. If a Barca player is going to win the Ballon d'Or, it's none other than Raphinha, right? And we could go look at his stats, all right? Let's start by his stats, all right? So I did pull up his stats in La Liga, and even though he wasn't the top goal scorer or the top assist, he did score 18 goals and have had 9 assists, right? But that's just purely stats. It's not going to tell you the chances he created. That's not going to tell you the missed opportunities. It's not going to tell you the how he got his goals, because if you guys look at his goals, it's not purely just tap-ins. It's not tap-ins. It was purely amazing goals from outside the box, from like kind of a wide from the right of the box. He was kind of scoring, right? From the curving it, power shots, amazing goals, right? So if you look at his stats in La Liga, he is Barcelona's best goal scorer, right? And by the way, I read this somewhere, but the last time somebody scored 50 GA or had goals in more than 50 goals involvement in a league by a Barca player, it was Lionel Messi in the 2018-2019 season. So that is insane. I don't know why people just want to brush that off, but Raphinha was kind of like the first Barca player to do since whoever. This season was just that. Raphinha is the first to do this since whatever. That was the whole narrative this whole entire season by Raphinha, and people want to forget that. People really do want to forget that, right? And you know, he was a 6th top goal scorer. He had 83 key passes. So as a winger, he had 83 key passes. But if you guys watch the games, right, on paper he was playing as a left winger, but dude was more of an attacker, where he would also take Lewandowski's position. So Lewandowski, there was sometimes where he would drop a little deep, right? And then the ones making fast breaks or counterattacks, you see Raphinha is mostly the one who is going to score that, right? I don't know why I just stuttered. He is the one who's going to score that, and he is the one who is making those runs, all right? So that's just in La Liga, right? And the hat tricks he dropped, the performance in the El Clasicos and in big games, it was Raphinha. Raphinha was always there in those big games. These are not just, penalties as well. How many penalties did dude score? He barely scored any penalties. Lewandowski is the main penalty taker for Barcelona. Raphinha was not. So you know that most of his goals in La Liga came from plays, from the plays. It came from the plays. In Champions League, this is the thing. So Barcelona did get eliminated, right? Barcelona got eliminated, okay. They got eliminated in the semifinals, right? They were just one step closer to the finals. But the fact that Raphinha tied Ronaldo's goal involvement record is insane. Yes, he played an extra 2 games, but that's not the point. Because if that was the point, I feel like it would be more people doing that, right? But it was Raphinha doing it, right? And if you, real quick, going back to the summer of 24, who thought that Raphinha was going to have the season? Everybody was talking about Lamine Yamal. Everybody was talking about Nico Williams. Everybody was talking about Hansi Flick. Raphinha was not mentioned. He was not mentioned at all. So nobody expected him to have the season. And for those who are pushing Lamine Yamal to win the Ballon d'Or, ask yourself this. If Lamine Yamal had the season Raphinha's having, or Raphinha's have had, imagine the outrage, right? If Raphinha won the Ballon d'Or with Lamine Yamal's like assists and performance over Lamine Yamal, over what he's achieved, what he's done, the goal scoring season and the assists and everything. Imagine that. Imagine it was Lamine Yamal who had more than 50 GA and Raphinha right in the 20s, right? It's just beyond you. It's beyond me that somebody is going to do that, right? Especially Lamine Yamal. He is 17 years old. I'm not saying that's the reason why he shouldn't win because he's young, right? But I just think Raphinha is the one who deserves it. He's been getting those shouts for a long time, and out of nowhere, ever since they got eliminated, I don't know why the script changed. Why is it Lamine Yamal now? You know? And it's not like the Nations League did any better. They didn't win the Nations League, right? So, yeah, in the UCL, it was crazy. He was a joint top scorer, right? I believe with the striker from Dortmund, I believe. And guess what, right? Speaking about Messi, he did break his best goal-scoring season goal involvement record, right? So, like I said, he tied with Ronaldo and he broke Messi's. It's not common to break Messi and Ronaldo's goal scoring records or goal involvement records in this day and age. It's just impossible, right? Not impossible, but it's hard to do. It's very, very, very hard to do. Yeah, he was also in the Champions League team of the season, right? So in terms of Champions League, the biggest stage in club football, I am not sure why people want to brush Raphinha or take him out of the conversation. He was remarkable in the UCL. And something I forgot to mention, right? So there's a lot of things, real quick, there's a lot of things that I want to say. It's just hard for me to memorize it. It's a lot. So I just kind of wrote it down, and I just reached this part that I have to read, right? So Raphinha also was named La Liga Player of the Season. And that is something, it's something very, how do I say it? It's something I feel like that should play a key role in winning the Ballon d'Or, because in my opinion, the last Ballon d'Or, I feel like it should have went to Vini, right? That's my personal opinion, right? And something about Rodri winning it didn't sit right with me. And I'll tell you why. Because how was he the best player of the season, but he couldn't even get nominated for Premier League Player of the Season? That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. I know there's different criteria, but I feel like it's not purely about goals and assists to win either or awards. It's not. So Raphinha winning La Liga Player of the Season is something that could increase his or cement his case to win the Ballon d'Or. And winning, what was it? The Supercopa, right? The Finals MVP. He was the MVP for that, man of the match for that game. But like I said, the big game impact, Raphinha this season, like he's been there. You guys seen his goal against Inter Milan, right? In the UCL, right? With that counter attack. Insane. Raphinha has always been there. He's been always, that's the thing. What's crazy about him, right? I always watch these games with my friends. And something that I always say is this guy is all over the field and he doesn't get tired. He's a stamina merchant. That's what I say. Raphinha is a stamina merchant because dude does not get tired, and it's not about goals for him. It's not about assists. He is going to get it regardless, right? And the fact that him having a bad game, right? We say bad game because he doesn't score or assist. It doesn't get to him because what he does is he backs that up or he brushes that off through defense and through pressure, right? He presses against the opposing team, and dude is a player. He's a player that every team wants. I am not going to lie. That specific season, in my opinion, he was the best winger. The best. I don't see anybody better than him. Mo Salah, right? Everybody thought that he was going to win. But then they were when I was reading online, they were saying, was he actually the best player in the world when he doesn't deliver in big games, right? If you guys didn't watch Liverpool's big games, I doubt that you'd see Mo Salah there. That's me being completely honest. And you could go search that up in big games, right? Yes, he was a key player for Liverpool to win the league, but what about the other cups and what about the Champions League? I did not see him. And yeah, so that's my reason why Raphinha is above Mo Salah in the Ballon d'Or. So when people are saying that Raphinha is 6th place for the Ballon d'Or, I just don't know what to say, right? I don't know how he is lower than Lamine Yamal. There are PSG midfielders, Vitinha. I hope I'm saying that. Vitinha. I don't know if I'm saying him right. He had a great season as well, by the way. Great season. But I just don't know how he's number 6, right? And if I do pull it up, I am not sure what it's going to show me now. I'm not sure what it's going to show me. But I am sure that Raphinha, they lowered him. They lowered him a lot. I believe they lowered him to number 6. All right, so when I pulled up to goal.com, they have Mo Salah at number 4. This is what I agree with. Mo Salah, number 4. They have Raphinha number 3 and Lamine Yamal number 2, which I don't get. Dembele number 1, Makes complete sense. But Raphinha is number 2. There's no such thing as Lamine Yamal above him. I get maybe if Lamine Yamal is above Mo Salah, because Lamine Yamal has been there in big games. He has. I'm not gonna deny that. Lamine Yamal has been there in big games. But above Raphinha, I don't know where the disrespect came from. I really don't know. There's a lot of people that I watch, right? Football YouTubers, right? And they don't want Raphinha to win it just because they don't want him to be the first Brazilian to win it ever since. Who was the last one? Kaká that won it? They don't want him to be the first Brazilian to win it in over 20 years. And I feel like that shouldn't matter. That it really shouldn't matter who would win it. The first Brazilian to win it ever since the first, I don't know, American to win it, whatever. You can't let that be the reason why you don't want him to win it and look for excuses why he shouldn't win it, right? So in my opinion, this is my official Ballon d'Or list. And you guys tell me what you think about it. But I feel like this is the one that makes sense, all right? I'd put number 1, Dembele. I'd put Dembele number 1. Number 2, Raphinha. If there's a Barcelona player who's going to win, it's going to be Raphinha. And I stand by that. I stood by that ever since they beat Real Madrid for the second cup, the Copa del Rey. Raphinha is number 2 for me. He's number 2. Number 3, I'd put Lamine Yamal at number 3. And number 4, I'd put Pedri. And number 5, I'd put Mo Salah. That is my official Ballon d'Or ranking. And that's me being unbiased, and that is me thinking ideally why my list goes in that order. I could be wrong. I could be seeing things wrong, right? But I just don't like the fact that Raphinha right now is getting this disrespect. It's not fair. It's really not. And I feel like he is getting the Vini treatment as well, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, this was the video that I was going to make. There's going to be other videos I'm going to talk about, maybe the Club World Cup, maybe some matches that I might be watching during the Club World Cup and do a little review about it. But let me know what you guys think about not just me ranking the Ballon d'Or, but let me know what you guys think about Raphinha. Let me know what you guys think about his season. Let me know why you guys feel like he should or shouldn't even be in the Ballon d'Or conversation, right? And try to be unbiased about it, because like I said, I love Real Madrid. That's my club, and I want them to win everything. It's going to suck to see a Barcelona player win something that Real Madrid could have won, but they're not going to win. It's like you're seeing your rival win. It's going to suck. But do they deserve it? Yes, they do. After that season, they do deserve it. And who am I to say they don't? They do. Flick changed the team. Incredible changes made to the team that you cannot argue against. And yeah, we just got to look for next season, and hopefully Xabi Alonso shapes this team the way it should be shaped. And yeah, until then, I'll see you guys in the next video, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to be reading them and responding to them if there will be comments. Assalamu alaikum.